Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you the part 1 of my June wrap-up. I managed to read like 13 books in the first 14 days of June and it has been pretty well. In this wrap-up video, I'll be speaking about the first 7 books which I read in the first 7 days of June. I'll not be talking in brief about those books because I already have a video out about them. I'll link that down in the description. I read 7 books in 7 days, and the next 6 books I'll be giving you a brief synopsis of what those books are and how they were and their ratings as well. So without any further ado, let's get into today's video. The first book which I read in June is Personal Success by Brian Tracy. Now this is a self-help book. It is written by one of the best self-help authors out there, who's Brian Tracy, and in this book Brian Tracy discusses or gives us 21 simple rules or techniques which we can follow in order to succeed better in life. And in this book he emphasizes that we have to do a lot of things. We have to be systematic, we have to batch things right in order to get work done and in order to be successful in life. And also apart from that, he tells us to fix a goal and work towards it and not just meander in our life searching for something in order to succeed. I rated this one 4 stars. The next book is also by Brian Tracy and it is Get Paid More and Promote It Faster. This is also a self-help book, and in this book also he gives us 21 rules or techniques or solutions which we can follow in order to get paid more as an employee working in a firm, and how we need to have a relationship with our colleagues, how we have to have a relationship with our customers, our superiors, and every other stuff. He also emphasizes that the customers that we deal with are not the only customers who we actually face in a job. He says us that the first customer of us is the boss, and the next customer is the co-employees with whom we work, and the third is the main customer, who's the actual customer whom we are dealing with. This is also a good book, but I found a lot of points that are overlapping between Personal Success and this one, yet it was a good read. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next 2 books are by the same author. They are also non-fiction, but they are not self-help or any other such books which you read for personal development, but these are books which are like kind of memoirs, but they are not memoirs of an entire life of a person. These 2 books are written by Adam Kay, and the books that I'm speaking about are This Is Going to Hurt and Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas. In both these books, Adam Kay, who had been a gynecologist, also a male, he's a male as well as a gynecologist. He had spent his work as a doctor for the past 10 to 15 years in the medical industry, and he had been a junior for a major part of those years, and the things that he experienced in those 10 to 15 years, and also the things which widened his eyes and how he started seeing other stuff, those are portrayed well in this book. As the title of the book itself says, This Is Going to Hurt. It is going to be a very hurtful story. It is a very short book, but it will take a lot of time to read because it is so powerful, it is so pungent, and you will need to take breaths in between reading pages of this book. And I highly suggest and think that everyone needs to read that book. And the next one, which is Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas. In this one also, he discusses the same plight of doctors which they handle on a daily basis while working around patients. And especially he talks about doctors who work in the night shift, especially the night shift before Christmas. That was very beautifully portrayed. How the rest of the world, they're enjoying this Christmas Eve time, and the doctors who are just forced to do their profession, though they too have families and they have no other choice. They have to work and they have to deal with it. These 2 books were very good, and I rated This Is Going to Hurt 5 stars, and the next one, which is Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas, 4 stars. I also have a dedicated review for This Is Going to Hurt. I'll try to link that also in the description. The next audiobook which I listened to is Cracking the Human Software by Sadhguru. Now in this audiobook, it's not available in any other format like physical copies or ebooks. You have to listen to it as an audiobook only. That's the only drawback with this book. But in this, Sadhguru, who is the founder and he is like the head of the Isha Yoga Foundation, he has narrated this book. Also, he has written this book. It is like an excerpt from one of his speeches to his audience, and in this he just relates how hectic a life we people in today's modern world live, especially the modern youth who are in corporate fields and many other stuff like that, who have hectic jobs, and despite being all those things, how much close we are to our culture, at the same time how distant we are from our culture. He has discussed that in a very proper way, and he also suggests us some techniques in order to crack this human software and get things done proper, also in order to get a better state of mind. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next book which I read is Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. Now, in this book, it is one of the 40 plus Discworld books out there. And in this one, we have this man named Moist Lipwig, and he's a fraud who's put into a trial, and he's to be executed. But instead of being executed, he's being made into the postmaster of this post office in a city called Angmok Park, which is like a reflection of some of the major cities like New York and Los Angeles in the real world, in this world called the Discworld. He has to navigate through how he is going to handle the stuff being a postmaster, how he'll handle his superiors, how he'll handle the people who are working below him, how he's going to deal with the people that are living in the city, what is the way of life in the city. All those things have been very well explained in this book, and every other thing which is actually present in the real postal system in the actual world, they have been discussed in this one as well. Apart from all those things, this is a very satire book. It is political in every sense, and also it is fantasy. So if you're a person who likes any of these three things, I'm sure that you will enjoy this. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next book is a comic book, and it is an ebook from Prime Reading, and it is Thor, Goddess of Thunder, Volume 1 from Marvel. Yes, you heard me right. It is Thor, Goddess of Thunder, not the God of Thunder. Now, as we saw in the Marvel Universe movies, now Thor is not actually Thor. He has lost Mjolnir, which is his hammer, and he's not able to lift it anymore. The legacy of Thor gets passed on to a girl after Thor Odinson, and that girl, she becomes Thor, and her experience of being Thor, how she feels after becoming Thor, that is, she feels like something has been stolen by her from the original Thor, but it's not like that. It is just the legacy that has been properly brought back to her in the proper cycle. All those things are good, and seeing Thor from a female perspective of view, it was very much refreshing, and I'm sure that everyone will enjoy this book. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next book is another comic book from Prime Reading, and it is Miss Marvel Volume 1, also from Marvel. Now, in this book, we have a 15-year-old girl named Kamala, and she is an American Pakistani who's living in America. She has an elder brother, and her parents are very conservative in every type, just as any South Asian parents are. Especially, she's from a Muslim family, so it is even more conservative as a family. And one night, she goes to a party with her friends, and something bad happens in the party. She just wants to help people out in the party. Then what just happens when Kamala is all alone? She is visited by all these main Marvel characters as a crew. That is, the Avengers come as a crew and meet her, and they give a part or a copy of Captain Marvel's power. Captain Marvel herself gives a part of her power to Kamala, and Kamala becomes Miss Marvel from then on. The main power of Kamala is that she can change her size and shape as to her wish, but she has to train herself in order to perfect the art of how she can use her powers, and there is no one that she can share this secret with except a friend whom she considers will keep her secret, and she lets it out to him. How they navigate and manage her being a superhero without letting her family know and any of the other people in her circle know, it's very well handled. And if you're a South Asian, I'm sure that you will be able to resonate a lot with this book. You will be able to relate a lot with this book, and it will also make you enjoy a lot. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next book which I read is a short story collection, and it is Friends in Wild Places, Beasts, Birds and Other Companions by Ruskin Bond. Now, in this book, Ruskin Bond tells the story from the point of view of a little kid who lives with his grandparents, and his grandfather is a person who has a lot of animals. He grows and domesticates a lot of variety of animals and birds in his house. It's like a big house, and there are these various tales which take place within the house and around the house or wherever they travel. All those experiences of the boy are explained or narrated by Ruskin Bond. It is very good, and I'm sure that if you read this during a summer day, any part of a summer day, I'm sure that you will love this because it is so atmospheric, it is so nostalgic in every sense. If you're looking for such light-hearted, warm reads, then you have to read this one. I rated this one also 4 stars. Next book which I read is Raavan, Enemy of Aryavarta by Amish Tripathi. Now, this is the 3rd book in the Ramchandra series. The Ramchandra series is a reimagining or retelling of the actual Ramayana that is put forward by Amish Tripathi, and he has told this story up to these three books from the points of view of the 3 main characters of the story, who are Ram, Sita and Raavan. The first book, Ram, Sign of Ikshvaku, is from the point of view of Ram. The second book, Sita, Warrior of Mithila, is from the point of view of Sita, and the third book, which is Raavan, Enemy of Aryavarta, is from the point of view of Raavan. and this book was well handled than Ram, but it was not as much well handled as Sita was. I have a dedicated review for Sita. I'll try to link that down in the description. And I've also filmed a review for this one, which I've scheduled for this week. I'm not sure when it will be coming out, but it will be coming out this week for sure. So do watch out for that. It was a good book. If you're hoping for a good read, then I highly suggest you to try this. And if you want an order of how you can read these 3 books, I suggest you to read Ram first, Raavan second, and Sita third, because Ram is okay, but while reading it, you'll not feel that it's okay. It'll feel good. When you reach this, Ram might seem a little less, and when you go to Sita, these both put together will seem less, because it was so well handled, so well executed. But this was good, but I had some issues with this, which will be coming out in the review, so do watch out for that. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next book which I read is another comic, and it is from DC. It is Justice League Volume 1 from DC, and I also read it from Prime Reading. So if you're having a Prime facility, do try it. It was good. Now in this comic, we have the Justice League, who are fighting as always against the evil forces who are trying to take down Earth. And in this particular comic or episode of the universe, we have this purge which is going on, which causes numerous earthquakes to happen across all places in the earth, and many people are suffering. And the Justice League, they just try to figure out a way to bring things back to normal, and also trying to figure out the reasons which are causing these things to happen actually. And there are a lot of reasons which go on the background, and how they deal with it, how certain people deal with certain issues in order to form the big picture, in order to save the world as a whole. It was really good. It was fun. It will take a little bit time to read, because it is comparatively a bigger comic, but it is very much enjoyable. I rated this one also 4 stars. The next 2 books which I read are audio programs from Audible, and the first one is All Being Well, the Introduction to the World of Wellness by Alicie Fraser. Now in this book, we see what actually mental wellness or wellness in normal terms is, and what is self-care, how we can take care of ourselves, especially our mental health, and how this has become like a major industry in the present world. What are the various marketing strategies that are actually happening without us knowing them? How much amount of them is actually worthy, and how much is that totally trash? It is so good in every nature. They have handled different things like corporate firms which carry out wellness programs for the mass of people as a whole, and how people come in a hurry to do yoga, learn yoga in a calm way, and then hurry back to work. All these things have been very well explained and organized in a proper way. If you want to get a proper idea or a light idea of what wellness actually is, I highly suggest you to try this one. But it is not that great. It is good. It will take like an hour or 2 to listen. So if you're free, you can obviously plug in earphones and then listen to it. I rated this one also 3 stars. The final book is another audio recording from Audible, and it is Get Happy, Introduction to Happiness by Michelle Gielan and Oliver Burkeman. Now this is also episodic in nature. It has 5 episodes on the whole. Each episode is maximum 20 to 30 minutes long, so it will be very easy to finish. You can just sit down during a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and you can just continuously read it or listen to it, or you can listen it during a night before sleep. It is very good. How we picture happiness as human beings, and what actual happiness is. These are the 2 things which are taken in this audio recording, and they just compare and contrast these 2 things. What we are doing right, what we are doing completely wrong, and what actually makes sense, that is considered to be happiness, and what are the things that we just give a mask and consider that to be happiness. They have been discussed properly in this one. It is mostly like an interview or a podcast rather than a book, but it is very much worth the time that you can spend on it. I rated this one also 3 stars. Okay, so those were all the 13 books which I read in the first half of the month, and do tell me what are the books which you read in these 2 weeks in the comments below, and also drop some suggestions for me which you think that I might like. And if you also want to know about certain books and want me to read them, also do let me know. I'll try to read them as soon as possible and discuss them over here, or at least in private to you. That's all for today. If you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.